Chapter 38, Episode 10, Shadow. 3 weeks. 3 weeks passed since the incidents at the mall and at Burkhan Industries. 3 weeks since I accidentally broke my best friend's arm. Since then, not much happened around Giga City. No major Maverick attacks. Sure, there were times some random crimes happened around the city. The worst of it was a break-in at another computer store with more knuckleheads trying to grab whatever they could sell later on. Thankfully, the small brawl that I got into with these goons went a lot better than the last 2 battles I had gotten into. In fact, I didn't take a single hit. It was a confidence boost that was sorely needed as the disasters that would encounter Sonic, Sorian, and Broodwing. At the time, I wasn't sure how much sense it made to sell cheap computer parts or where they do it, but I found out the hard way that it wasn't my problem. What do you mean it's not our problem? Colonel Boy stared at me dead in the eye. The way he looked at me was odd. I wasn't sure if it was anger or disappointment. We are not police officers, Sakamoto. It is not our job to step on their toes to go after petty criminals. The twins were staying behind me in the room at HQ that served as a command center. They watched quietly while Snowcat and I calmly debated on the topic of jurisdiction. And how do we know they weren't planning on using that stuff to, I don't know, find a Maverick operation or access distraction to draw attention away from Burkana? The colonel took a sip of the cup of coffee that was pretty much turning touches to his head. It struck me how casually he took a drink. Can you prove any of that? Well, he got me on that one. Well, exactly. There's no evidence of any intention of Maverick activity and actions, and it's not within our reach to investigate something of that nature without any direct evidence. Evidence that only comes when a local law enforcement body said evidence to Maverick on her core. Vigilantism in and of itself is a crime, and if you're caught, the court will not endorse your activities and you will spend time in a juvenile facility. And once you're done, you will be discharged from the court, and I'm sure your parents will be proud to have a daughter that washed out the court and had some criminal record before she even reached her legal adult years. I had no answer for that. All I could do was stand there, mouth moving in shock. Now that it had occurred to me, all I cared about was bringing the bad guys down. I didn't think that I could actually get in trouble for something like that. That badge won't provide you with certain protections. Those protections don't cover any illegal acts you undertake that are not under our direct orders. And after that bit of encouragement and clarification, I had gone home to think about it. Apparently, the first time I'd gotten involved in breaking up an attempted robbery, I got in luck with the fact that it's the new Zero, was no longer wanted with the Giga City Police Department. Mom told me that the charges were dropped at the fight and capture of Amuri Urchin. After that, things in my life had calmed down somewhat. I'd managed to get caught up with my schoolwork in the downtime. I had a lot to be grateful for, since we'd only started the school year. There wasn't too much to get caught up on. It's a little awkward being in class, though. It's hard not to feel that way when you find out that one of your teachers was a fan of a huge war and also considers something of a hero. It's Fair, also known as Fair Leviathan, kept things strictly professional between us. Professional to the point that she was about as hard on me as anyone else in school. One day, she sent me an email returning a homework assignment I turned in the day before. On it was a pretty decent grade, I thought, and I know I'd abandoned the assignment. I am aware of the extracurricular activity you participate in before and after school. Regardless, I know you're capable of much better performances than this. Be sure your activities don't impede on your studies. Sure, that doesn't sound that bad. But this is concerning the fact that before and after means she's talking about my duties as a Maverick Hunter. That's rough, because even with the small scraps I'd been in, I always felt exhausted after each transformation. Sometimes I was so worn out, I'd pass out as soon as I got back home and into my room. It also ruined my sleep schedule, which had the positive effect of me being able to finish my schoolwork before it was too late, but also the negative of me feeling worn out for a couple of days. Boogie got out of the hospital a couple days after the accident, though she still had to wear the medical sleeve for about a week. You'd forgive me for breaking her arm, knowing that it was an accident. When I asked her about it, she told me that she was kind of glad that it happened. It gave her a small break in her ninja training, since, according to her master didn't want to risk her aggravating the injury before it had a chance to fully heal. She seemed a little happier than normal. I don't think I could blame her for it. She told me she wanted to have more normalcy in her life, and an ailing arm gave her some time. So that leads us to the current point in time. I sat in one of my midday classes, with Fair giving us a lecture on public speaking. I had no idea when I would be able to put anything she was talking about to use, to be perfectly honest. I didn't have any plans to be a teacher, a politician, or anything that would require me to talk to a crowd. As far as I knew, the crowd would probably have, like, a PR office that would handle stuff like that. I made a mental note to ask either Midge or Techno about it later on. I'd rather not be behind a microphone if I could help it. I kinda zoned out a bit during his lecture, not really thinking about anything in particular. My vision just kinda blurred together. My eyes danced around the room. Everybody and everything just kinda turned to visible blobs. Even Ibuki, now without the sleeve, just kinda went. So it caught me completely by surprise when suddenly the clouds disappeared in a flash of heat and flying chunks of wall. For several seconds, my world a mess of unintentional blurring and muffled sounds. I shook my head, trying to clear everything out. It took a few seconds, but everything cleared up to a mess of dust thrown everywhere. People screaming and running for the door. A small fire scattered near what used to be the wall. I threw myself from under my own desk, shaking a bit, but otherwise fine. I started moving toward the door when the world around me started rumbling. I hadn't gotten to the door just yet, but I had a feeling that the increase in screams in the hallway meant another explosion went off somewhere else. But why would anyone attack the school? What was the point? Then again, why would anyone attack a mall? There wasn't any solid reason I could come up with for any of this. I made it into the hall, which may have been a mistake. The hall was packed full of students trying to get out in front of the building around it. I scanned around, trying to find a book in the panic. I thought the people in the building, she'd be the one person not panicking about what was happening around us, so she'd probably be the most noticeable. I couldn't find her, which started to worry me. I ran back to the classroom, hoping I wouldn't find what I thought I was going to. I was in trouble. My best friend was unconscious and pinned under debris. The students were practically starting to run each other over trying to get out. There were too many people around, meaning I couldn't transform and try to search for whatever was causing this chaos. So I did what I thought was the right thing. I ran back into the room to try and pull Bookie out of the rubble. The second I stepped into the room, another explosion went off, this time in my face. The blast knocked me flat on my back, which knocked the air out of me. My eyes watered, my face burned from the heat, and I'm pretty sure a bit of my hair was singed from the fire. At least that probably would have been the case if the flames from the blast weren't frozen in place. Everything stopped around me. None of the students were screaming anymore, or moving for that matter. There wasn't any heat from the fire above me, which confused me for a second. The fire started vanishing, parts of it turned into square blocks that broke apart in the air. The classroom and everything in it went with the fire. Everything surrounding me slowly being replaced by a white cube. White tiles lined the walls, blue energy lines running between several tiles around the room. A door slid open behind me, and a person calmly walked into the room. I tried to push my way into my school. This didn't go the way I thought it was going to at all. So, the female voice that was the colonel started. Care to tell me where you went wrong? I groaned for a second, still filling my physical world with palm. I tried to go back into a burning room? Well, there's that. Basic fire safety is something you should have learned as a kid. What else? Wait, there was something else I did wrong? I thought back to the scenario. Nothing that I could think of came to mind. That doesn't surprise me. Ouch. Not like that. It's a result of your lack of proper crisis training. Here he took a sip of his coffee. If you had gone through the Hunter Academy and received the proper training, you might have been able to tell that you didn't get up when the attack started. Wait, what? There were too many people around, though. I couldn't have transformed with everyone around. Someone would have seen me. Colonel Blaze bent down, offering me a hand to help me up. I took it, getting up to my feet and wiping the still forming tears out of my eyes. You're in an emergency situation. Your response should have been just as immediate. So I should have transformed. He stared at me for a minute, not saying anything. He finally smiled at me. Tell me something. What's the natural inclination of someone when they're in the vicinity of a car accident? Natural inclination? What are they most likely to do? I thought about it for a second. My memory went back to a few years beforehand. Back to my accident. Back to... You stood there, Sakamoto? I snapped back. That was something I didn't want to think about right now. Yeah. Sorry. He raised an eyebrow, asking me a question without saying anything. I guess they'd stop and watch. Exactly. Another sip. And in a situation like this, your transforming would have caused anyone who saw you to stop and watch, just like a car accident. Your transforming would have caused those kids to become additional infections in whatever attack was underway. So I should have run around with everyone else? And found a place to get up outside of anyone else. I thought about it for a minute. But wait, what about everyone who was stuck in the room? At that, Colonel Bites gave me a look. It was weird. I didn't know the Colonel very well, but I had the feeling that if he said anything to answer that question, I wouldn't have liked what I heard. So wait, I'm just supposed to leave them there? They could... My sense fell off from there. I couldn't actually believe what he was implying there. His expression didn't change at all. We stood there, staring at each other for a small moment before he put his hand on my shoulder. We can't save everyone every time, Iris. It's a reality we have to accept in this work. I looked down at this. It's a depressing thing to hear. All we can do is help as many as we can every time we deploy. Concealed deployment helps us with this. Not only does it provide identity protection for our human hunters, it provides proximity protection for the civilians that may be around us. It makes them less likely to get involved. What happened when your friend found out that you were a Maverick Hunter? That was an easy one. She jumped in to help me on my next fight. Exactly. She got involved because she was too close to where you transformed. Sure, she's able to defend herself, but what if it was someone who can't? That's why we have concealed deployments. That's something you would have learned through the academy. Now get ready. You still have some time here in the simulator, and you need every minute you can get. I looked up a window near the top of one of the walls. I knew the twins were behind the glass, controlling everything that happened around me. I wondered what they thought about the situation. Did they like watching me get knocked around? Or were they more worried about whatever numbers or data they were getting with how I was botching their training? A couple of minutes later, I plopped myself onto my bed, feeling more sore than any day that I had practices. I was glad that none of it was real, other than the times I hit the ground. No, I didn't fall more than twice. Don't believe anyone who tells you otherwise. Anyway, I took a few minutes to relax and let my muscles and bones recover from the exhaustion of the day. I was just glad I didn't have a class today. I wasn't sure I would have been able to make it, and Sensei might not have been happy about that. Honestly, why he cares about me so much is odd. It's like he saw me like his own daughter or something. Too bad for him I'm already spoken for. After about an hour or so, I got up and started plugging away at a data pad. At some point, my mind decided my homework wasn't going to get itself done. The conversation with the Colonel from earlier in the day echoed in my head. It was hard to accept that there was going to be a situation where I'd have to abandon someone that needed help. It didn't help that the one time it came up, and every time my best friend was one of the people that I would have left behind if I did my job correctly. Thinking about everything made the job of doing my homework go slower than usual. Once I finished everything, I thought about my thing one more time. While I remembered the conversation, one thing came to mind. Hunter Academy. As I got ready for and climbed into bed for the night, two things came to mind. One, now I had a question to ask the Colonel next time I saw him. Two, I hoped I could make it to the next day at school without too much pain.